Welcome to our 2019 SEA Games Highlight Show. It is day 7 at the Games, and today we're going to talk about the coming of age of some of our young Team Singapore athletes. Before we go into that though, if you do want to find out more about the results and the performances of our Team Singapore athletes at the Games, visit teamsingapore.sg. Now we're going to start off today with the topic of our Taekwondo exponent, Chelsea and Sim. I mean, the team didn't exactly do fantastically well in this particular outing, but we've certainly seen a lot from today.
Yes, definitely. We went down today to look at Taekwondo and we saw Chelsea in action in her individual finals event. Her performance was probably not up to her own expectations, but she came back in the second part of the day with a team event with her juniors. And her juniors, one was their first SEA Games. They came out with a good performance, although they didn't really win any medals, but I think it's a good showing by these young athletes. We spoke to Chelsea and she told us how she actually guides her juniors during this whole preparation process.
When I first went for the SEA Games, my first ever SEA Games, I was the youngest. And now in my Pumse team, I'm actually the oldest. Yeah, so my other teammates, one is 18 and one is 20. One has been to 2 SEA Games, another one is her first SEA Games. So I really just try to help them along the way and share with them my experience and try to really mentor them and help them check their mistakes and all, and try to be there for them as well.
It's certainly great to see our senior athletes helping to build the future generations of their sport.
Yeah, certainly. She's almost like an older sister to them to a certain extent. And speaking of siblings, we have something from the sport of squash.
We've all experienced sibling rivalry before, but what happens when you and your sibling are both national athletes?
That's right, at this SEA Games we've seen the Fandi brothers in football, the Lee twins in diving, and of course the Kwa siblings in swimming. And today we got to see another pair of siblings in action.
That's right, we were at the squash venue and we got to find out what sibling rivalry is like for the brothers.
For me as an older brother, I feel privileged to share this experience with my brother, especially when I introduced him to squash when he was 13 and I was a bit older, and then he started beating me and stuff. But I still got the first games first. I went to the first games first, yeah. And now sharing this experience is very good.
I guess it's a pretty surreal experience. I mean, starting off at 13, I wasn't expecting much. My brother wasn't expecting much as well. We were just social players. And then over the years, we trained really hard. And then eventually made it the national team. And yeah, it was good to be in the games together this year.
As you can see, healthy competition between siblings can push each other to greater heights.
And speaking of the coming of age of our young Team Singapore athletes, we had the table tennis doubles today. And although both the men's and the women's didn't claim gold, as many would have expected, I think it still bodes very well for Singapore to have a lot of our young athletes being represented in this edition of the table tennis.
We've seen the past few events in SEA Games on how youths are actually using this as a platform to launch off their careers and gain experience to use in their future competitions.
Well, that has certainly been the case, and as you can tell, many of the national sporting associations have been sending our youngest athletes into these games, sports like volleyball, athletics and swimming, not with the intention of winning medals in the here and now per se, but with the view of giving them the exposure and a higher level of competition for a few other competitions and for the road ahead. So it's not exactly all doom and gloom as the headlines may suggest just because Singapore hasn't won gold. What do you think? Let us know whether you agree with this approach of us sending in our young athletes to the games. And if you want to find out more about our young athletes competing at these games, you can either check out the playlist that we have below or visit our athlete profiles on teamsingapore.sg. If you like our content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little bell notification button. And we have one other surprise for you. Our team will be headed out of Metro Manila tomorrow, and you will be seeing a change of set very, very soon. We'll see you guys tomorrow.